Hello and welcome to Musical Musings. I'm your host for this episode, Callum O'Malley.
I'm Jamie Byers.
And I'm Jack Brittle.
Basically, each week, one of us will pick a song to share with each other and with you at home. We'll direct you to the song we choose in the description of the episode so you can check it out for yourself. Afterwards, we'll analyze the song and talk about what we liked, didn't like, and our general thoughts on it. Today's song is Cure for the Enemy by Billy Talent. Check it out now, and we'll be right back. So, that was Cure for the Enemy by Billy Talent. Purely musically, what do you guys think of that song? We can get into the meaning later, but...
I like the kind of juxtaposition of when those distorted guitars kind of come in and out very sparingly. I liked how that was used. It's not the whole, because the vibe of the song is almost like, I like the fact that it isn't all just heavy. Like it has a kind of more wider sound palette. I like that part. I like the kind of breakdown near the end before the bridge section. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I listen to heavier music sometimes, so.
Yeah, without getting into the lyrics, it definitely, we listened to it the second time with the lyrics in front of me, I didn't fully understand what the song was about, but just listening to it without that, it sounded like something was counting down. It almost made me think of the climax of a movie where the main character or whatever is trying to get something done. And I feel like that would be the song in the background of that movie.
It's kind of like a song that personifies running out of time.
Exactly. Yeah.
When we get the lyrics, I think is pretty apt. But it has a very epic, grandiose kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
There was a certain part of the song too where I feel like it climaxed and it was this is the last moments before time actually runs out, and you could pinpoint that moment of the song.
Yeah. Well, Billy Talent always has a lot of good lyrics. One of the reasons I'll probably be bringing up Billy Talent a lot on this podcast is because of how much I love the way that they write their lyrics, stuff like that. So do we want to jump right into what the song means then? What is the enemy to you guys?
The end?
The enemy.
Oh, the enemy. Oh yeah, that's something I found interesting too, because I don't really get that line. I think I'd have to listen to who is the enemy? Is it time?
Yeah, I honestly my interpretation was, the person who's singing is dealing with loss of someone and their time is kind of running out. So maybe enemy might be they're grappling with disease and that is the thing that's taking time away from them. I think there's a lot of ways you could interpret it depending on your life experience as well.
Yeah. I believe that it's meant to be cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it can go a lot of ways. Obviously there are a lot of ways a person can die and a lot of grief that comes along with that. I don't know for sure, but I'm fairly certain that it might be the lead singer's father died of cancer sometime before Dead Silence came out, the album that the song's part of.
The song did mention father in it, so I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah, there is specifically the verse that I like the most is in the second stanza of the first verse. We used to fight, have we made amends? Father, I just can't tell. Watching you spend the time you have left trapped in a cold blue bed.
Yeah.
That line specifically.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I think the theme of the song is just, trying to make amends with somebody that is gonna, is their time is running low and they're gonna pass. And just kind of when it all comes down to somebody, leaving this plane of existence, all of these trivial little disputes just seem to, matter so much less because it's you that person is so much more important to you than those silly kind of things that you fought over. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful message, I would say. And that combined with the kind of the music packs quite a punch. So
yeah, I think that it's also they're dealing with their own mortality and becoming more aware of it and maybe realizing these things because someone that they love is kind of close to their deathbed in a way. It's probably changing the way that they live their life and I don't want to feel this way when I'm on my deathbed.
Carpe diem, yeah.
It is something that I'm going to get into in a minute because there's not an analogy, a comparison that I want to make afterwards.
Actually,
about that, like seeing yourself in that position
Yeah.
and kind of, yeah, especially from a family member, especially like
Yeah.
a parent. I can definitely see that being not even just like the loss of a family member, but suddenly being like, well, this is my father, so like I'm not invincible either.
Yeah, and I think that while some of the lyrics are kind of directed at someone else, there are other parts of the song where it almost feels like they're talking about themselves rather than talking about directly about someone that's in that position. So
I like the second bridge. It reminded me of Eclipse from Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. The all those you've loved, all those who've died, all we have left is what lives in our minds. Like, it just reminded me of that.
It's almost like a mantra.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, kind of just encapsulating everything that you that is a part of your, time on earth. And I liked how that part was preceded by like a pretty like heavy guitar part. And then once that second bridge came in, it was just kind of these like dissonant guitar notes. That's what I mean about like the juxtaposition. So yeah, I think it's really well musically crafted, and the music fits the lyrics, how the mood of whatever they're trying to portray with it.
Yeah, again, that's like I will always go on about how much I love Billy Talent, but the more of that music that I show to you guys, the more their range of like different things that they'll sing about and how the music always fits the lyrics and how like good the lyrics are and how the music amps that up even more. That's not just this song. That is a common theme across this band of how they do that.
Could I say one thing that I wasn't a huge fan of?
Absolutely.
I'll
disagree with you.
I know you will, but I wasn't a huge fan of the lead singer's voice.
I can get that.
I felt it's a little bit whiny for me,
That's fair.
but that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But
It is-
because we did say, things we didn't like too.
Yeah, and there'll definitely be things in this podcast that I'll be like, I hated this.
Yeah, which is fine,
I did I mentioned it because we listened to these songs twice. Like we listened to it and then we listened to it again with a little bit more information and looking at the lyrics a second time. And between the songs we listened to, I mentioned how Billy Talent has two vocalists. I think one of the guitarists sings alongside the main vocalist most of the time. And in this genre, that harmony can be really interesting.
Does the lead singer play any instruments, or is he just?
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I haven't seen them yet. Live. I'm seeing them this.
I could see this song being like a great like closer or like encore or something.
Yeah, I don't know where it is in the album, so that's actually an interesting.
I think it's like in the middle, or maybe
It
near the
might.
end.
I think it is in the middle, but I can look that up while we chat.
Yeah, but yeah, you mentioned the harmony, and you said it was kind of different for this genre of music to have that kind of intricate harmonies. But
It is about in the middle. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I like I think you can hear the passion in his voice. I don't know. There's just something about the, and maybe this could be like said for the broader like punk genre. Maybe I'm just not a fan of like that style of singing, but I don't know. You could still hear like it's the emotion was still being conveyed though.
yeah, you could tell that it was a personal song, like something that the singer could connect to on that level.
Something that comes from experience, not just
Yeah.
like I wrote this because it sounded good.
Or I wrote this thinking about a hypothetical situation. Like this is something that they have lived through, and you can tell that it's still painful for them.
Yeah. The pain does come through in the performance as well as the lyrics.
I'd be interested to see the music video. Is there a music video for this
I've never
song?
seen it actually. I'll link it in. That'll be probably what I link in the description.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that'll be a good idea. That would be interesting. I've never seen it. The last thing I wanted to bring up was a specific comparison, and I don't know if you guys have heard this song. Do you guys know the song "Cats in the Cradle" by Harry Chapin?
I do know that song.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
That
This song almost
that you
feels
mention
like
it.
the second part to that.
yeah, or it's like it's evil twin.
Yeah, it's a more hardcore
is, yeah.
version, but the same
Yeah.
thematically, yeah.
But I can even see it as being like a part two of that song. Like the first song is like the father doesn't have enough time for his son, and the son doesn't make time for his father.
Right.
And then this song would happen of like the
father's
son
dying.
realizing that like, well,
Time's
we're out
out.
of time.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
And all this like
now
shit we've
he's
done
a-
to each other, we're just kind of locked in now. We can't undo this.
Right. Yeah, that is a good comparison because they definitely do touch on the same themes of like longing for like I would say regret. There's a lot of regret in this song, right? Where it's like I wish we spent our time more wisely, and yeah, that is a good comparison. It's like this is like the emo like cousin of it.
Yeah. It's the I'm 18 and angry
Yeah.
version of Cats in the Cradle. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember my dad showing me Cats in the Cradle when I was like 8 years old, and
Yeah.
like I didn't really get it. I just remember my dad showing it to me, being like, "I don't want this to be us." So like,
Right.
I didn't think.
Just
Like,
telling you now.
I have a really good relationship with my father, so like,
Yeah.
not an issue. But I remember him like saying that and showing me that song. I didn't really get it when I was a kid, and then getting older and listening to this song, it's like now I do understand that feeling of like, don't let that be how we are.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Like,
Anything else?
I liked it. Yeah, no, my brothers listened to Billy Talent when I was growing up, so it was what I was expecting it to be. I'd never heard this song particularly. Maybe I have like a long time ago and don't remember it, but yeah, I liked it.
you mentioned I might have heard it in your car, but I don't know if I remember. Probably playing in the background or something.
Yeah, I keep the music kind of low when we're driving, so I'm not overdoing the great conversations we have.
Yeah. Do you know what year this came out?
I'll check. Dead of Silence, Billy Talents. Billy Talents started recording material for Dead Silence in 2011 and finished in 2012. It released in the end of 2012. So this is
About,
a
10 years ago.
10-year-old song, which is longer than I thought. For some reason, I thought Dead Silence was a newer album. But all right, well, would you guys add this to a playlist? Well, what are your opinions on a very vague, not yet defined tier list of songs?
I don't like this. This strikes me as the kind of song where it has so much like meaning that it to listen to it like nonstop would almost like cheapen the effect of it. Because I have certain songs like that where it's like they're so like meaningful to me, where if I just listen to it over and over again, it almost loses its the meaning. And so I do like the song for sure, but just because of the subject matter, I don't know how like frequently I would be listening to it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on the same page. And I think that I find comfort in music when I'm dealing with certain issues or situations. But this is a song that maybe I would come back to if I was ever in a situation that kind of related to it.
I hope not anytime soon.
No, I'd hope not.
So it's like, man,
what
I
I'm
hope I don't
saying
listen
is
to
like,
this.
you know, I feel like I find comfort in listening to musics that relate to whatever I'm going through at the time. And if and when, I guess, because we all deal with mortality at some point, I find myself in this situation. Now this is a song that I can go back to, I guess.
I also do like how I'm like, yeah, it's too deep for me, and then I picked 9 Inch Nails for the last I can't listen to it. It's too much.
The lost episode of this podcast that we'll never release because it was fucking terrible and like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, because it's just me rambling.
It was Jack talking for about 11 minutes straight.
About his own song.
Oh yeah,
We changed the format after that.
we did.
show,
We
yeah.
did.
We learned some things.
Yeah, we'll post. I do want to post even like if the audio was a little weird. We're gonna, or I'll unprivate and
one of
upload the Myth
Jamie's
one.
song?
Yeah. Myth by Beach House, because that one I actually did end up
That
adding
is a
to my
good
playlist.
song,
That song
yeah.
was really good. Yeah, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week probably with
My song.
one of Jack's songs. I
We'll
forgot.
see how that
Find out.
goes.
All right, thank you. See you next time.